It wasn't by chance that you arrived here. Something inside you, even amidst your weariness, brought you to this moment. Perhaps you've spent days wondering why everything seems to be at a standstill, why the doors won't open, why your efforts go unanswered. And just now, when you thought the silence meant abandonment, this message appears. Listen carefully, because what seemed like a rejection was actually a reservation. And today you'll understand why your name was already written before you even knocked. Slow down. Take a deep breath. Inhale, hold, and exhale slowly. Relax your shoulders. Release the tension in your neck. You're not here to rush. You're here to remember. There are moments in life when it seems like everything is closing in. Projects that stall, conversations that fail to progress, attempts that bear no fruit. And the soul begins to wonder if it did something wrong. But there is a truth that few understand. Not every closed door is a rejection. Some are closed because they are still being prepared from within. While you saw silence, there was invisible movement. While you felt delay, there was alignment. There are access points that are not conquered by force. They are activated by identity. And here is the code that no one explained to you. You don't access through insistence. You access through correspondence. Life doesn't respond to noise. It responds to inner vibration. If you have felt that something great belongs to you, but it hasn't arrived yet, it's not an illusion. It's anticipatory recognition. Your spirit identifies you before your eyes. See it. You have been strong in silence. You have kept walking, even though you doubted yourself inside. You have smiled while weathering inner storms. You have waited for answers that never seemed to come. And that waiting began to hurt, because prolonged silence can be mistaken for oblivion. But silence is not always empty. Sometimes it is calibration. Sometimes it's the exact space where the details you don't see are adjusted. Imagine knocking on a door before they've even finished installing the right lock. It's not that it's not your door. It's that the mechanism wasn't ready yet. There are paths that require a new version of you. Not because you weren't enough, but because what's coming needs your expansion. What you called stagnation was training. What felt like a setback was strengthening. What seemed like indifference was protection. Some doors close early to prevent you from entering before you know how to handle what's inside. The key doesn't just open. The key also confirms that you belong, and there's something you must understand today. If something is meant for you by destiny, it cannot be taken by another. Your name doesn't compete. Your name is assigned. While you thought you were out, they were actually finishing writing it down clearly. Visualize that door in front of you. It's not intimidating. It's solid. Feel the weight of the key in your hand. It's not heavy because of difficulty. It's heavy because of its meaning. Approach Italiano. Don't run. Don't push. Just acknowledge it. There's a profound difference between forcing a door and opening one that was already meant for you. And deep down, you know the difference. Because when something is meant for you, it doesn't create anxiety. It creates peace. If you've come this far, it wasn't to hear pretty words. It was to remember something you already knew. In the next part, you'll understand how to activate that inner code, how to align yourself with the door that already has your name on it, and how to stop knocking on doors that were never meant for you. But first, breathe again, because what's coming isn't forced. It's embraced. Not every door opens from the outside. Some open when something inside you clicks. And that click isn't noise. It's alignment. You've spent too much time trying to prove you deserve to enter. Trying to convince. Trying to fit in. But the doors that bear your name don't require acting. They require authenticity. They told you to be more persistent, to knock louder, to be more visible. But the real code isn't intensity. It's consistency. When your inner self aligns with what you wish to receive, the door doesn't resist. It responds. That's why some attempts didn't work. It wasn't punishment. It was a mismatch. You were trying to enter from an old version of yourself, and what's meant for you demands your conscious self, your resolute self, your self that no longer doubts its worth. Access isn't bought. It isn't begged for. It isn't pleaded for. It's recognized. Close your eyes for a moment. If you can imagine that you're no longer knocking on the wrong doors, imagine that you're no longer seeking validation. Feel your chest lighten. That relief. That relief. It's a sign that something inside you has understood. There are processes that work silently because they can't bear the noise of anxiety. While you doubted, scenarios were being rearranged. While you thought about giving up, conversations you're not even aware of were being adjusted. While you felt paused, timing was being synchronized. Not everything happens on the visible plane. There are pacts of purpose that operate unannounced, and something began to change within you recently. Perhaps you noticed it in a small decision, in a conversation that made you think differently, in a newfound sense of dignity. That was the beginning of the adjustment. The key doesn't appear before understanding. You have felt weariness. Weariness of starting over, weariness of believing and not seeing, weariness of explaining your vision to those who don't understand it. But weariness doesn't mean defeat. It means transition. The soul grows weary before it soars. And here is a firm truth. When something truly belongs to you, the process doesn't destroy you. It prepares you. Maybe you cried silently. Maybe you doubted yourself privately. Maybe you feigned confidence while inside you had questions. None of that disqualifies you. It humanizes you. The access code is not a magic word. It's an internal stance. 1. Stop chasing what ignores you. 2. Stop insisting where there is no reciprocity. 1. Stop knocking on doors that make you feel small, and start doing something different. Hold on to your identity, even if no one confirms it yet. Walk like someone who already knows they belong. Speak like someone who already understands their worth. The right door isn't impressed by noise. It opens to clarity. Visualize the door again. Now you're no longer anxious. Your breathing is steady. Your gaze is firm. You don't need to shout. You simply insert the key. And this time, there's no resistance. Listen to that inner sound. That sound isn't coming from the metal. It's coming from your consciousness aligning. That's the true access. Now pay attention. This isn't just another comment. It's a decree. If you feel something within you is changing, write it in the comments. IT has already begun, not as a fleeting emotion, but as an affirmation of alignment. Writing it down is acknowledging that the waiting was preparation, that the silence was adjustment, that the apparent closure was protection. When you declare, you activate, and now repeat in a low voice. What belongs to me recognizes me. I don't force, I align myself. I don't pursue, I receive. My name is where I must enter. Feel the strength in your voice. You weren't outside. You were being shaped. You weren't forgotten. You were being protected from access that wasn't worthy of your growth. And now something changes. Not because the world decided to help you, but because you've decided to understand. In the next part, we won't talk about doors. We'll talk about permanence, because opening is only the beginning. Sustaining requires awareness. Prepare yourself. Breathe. What is activated today is not about emotion. It's about identity. Right? IT has begun. If you feel the activation, opening a door is a moment. Staying is a decision. Many manage to get in. Few know how to stay. Because the real test isn't in getting in. It's in the awareness with which you occupy that place. And today you're not just understanding how to open up. You're understanding why it was you. When you finally cross the threshold of something that belongs to you, something quiet happens. There are no fireworks. No external applause. There is a calm certainty. The soul recognizes what it always knew. But here the invisible challenge appears. Not to minimize what you receive. Not to doubt when it has already been confirmed. Not to sabotage what was precisely prepared. Many people lose what was meant for them because upon entering they revert to acting as if they don't belong. And you didn't come this far to act small. You came to take your place with serene firmness. Place your hand on your chest. Feel the steady rhythm of your heart. That rhythm doesn't ask permission to beat. It simply fulfills its purpose. That is how you must be where you belong, without justifying your presence, without apologizing for existing, without fearing to take up space. Take a deep breath. Your stability begins within. There's a fear that almost no one talks about. The fear of holding on to what you've always dreamed of, because holding on to something implies responsibility. It involves daily consistency. It involves aligned decisions. It involves emotional discipline. But listen to this firmly. If the door has opened, it's because you already have the internal structure to stay. Access points aren't activated prematurely. The preparation you went through, the silence, the exhaustion, the waiting, wasn't an accident. It was training for stability. Remember the days when no one understood your process. Remember the nights of unanswered questions. Remember when it seemed like everyone was moving forward except you? That was your invisible training ground. While others were rushing toward other people's doors, you were being strengthened for one that demands character. Not all abundance is material. Not all conquest is visible. There are inner conquests that change the way you walk through life. And that has already begun within you. Visualize now that you fully cross the threshold. You don't look back with nostalgia. You don't look back with resentment. You look back with understanding. You understand that every delay was calibration. Every silence was adjustment. Every apparent loss was redirection. Don't feel the firm ground beneath your feet. That ground symbolizes stability. It is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is consistent with who you have become. This is the moment to seal it. Repeat with conviction. I take my place peacefully. Primera está ND firm. I do not retreat out of fear. My identity sustains what I receive. Now, write in the comments, I remain, not as an emotional impulse, as an internal contract. Whenever you doubt, remember this statement. You're not getting in by luck. You're getting in by correspondence. If this message resonated deeply with you, it's no coincidence. This space isn't massive by accident. It's a community forming with people who understand the value of the process. Subscribing isn't just following a channel. It's choosing to stay connected to messages that strengthen your identity when external noise tries to distract you. Here, we don't promise fantasy. We remind you of your purpose. Activate your subscription if you choose to keep your consciousness aligned. because what begins today doesn't end with a video. It's a new stance toward life. Close your eyes for a moment. If you can, let these words be a seal. Thank you for the silences that shaped me. Thank you for the doors that didn't open sooner. Thank you for the invisible preparation. I declare that I enter with humility and remain with firmness. I declare that what belongs to me is established in my life. I declare that I no longer pursue what does not correspond to my identity. I walk in peace. I remain clear, and I responsibly uphold what has been entrusted to me. Breathe. Feel the calm. You don't need to rush now. What was meant to open, opened within first, and when something opens within, the outset inevitably responds. Your name wasn't waiting for approval. It was waiting for alignment. And today, you chose to align yourself